must be the money. Sorry. Anyway, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of my 2025 DVD and Blu-ray collection overview. The last segment was part 26 because I did in between. I got up and went and checked on the computer. So that was 26. This is 27. So we're getting there. So once again, working up top here. I'll try to get, maybe the next part will be done. We'll see. I do have 3 stacks here. Try to get through these as we go and get it rolling. So we'll see what happens. But let's do it. Let's get into it. So first up, I have the Midnight Run. It says it's the 4-movie collection, but it's actually not, because I took the first disc, which was the first movie, and I got rid of it. So it only has the TV movie sequel. So yes, in the 90s, for those of you that don't know, or for those of you that don't remember, Universal Studios had a segment on TV, on syndication, called the Action Pack. It was the Universal Action Pack. That is where Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, and Xena aired, which was the only 2 segments that were successful. But they had a series of movies and stuff. Midnight Run, for whatever reason they picked Midnight Run, but Midnight Run got 3 TV movies that aired in that time slot or that segment or whatever. So these are the 3 TV movies in here, which they have only come out on this DVD as far as I know. So there's that. They also had... Actually, no, Hercules and Xena were not the only successful ones. They had Smokey and the Bandit. They did, I think, 4 Smokey and the Bandit TV movies, and then they also did William Shatner's Tech War. So Tech War, Hercules, and Xena were the only ones that were successful, because they didn't... I guess again, Midnight Run and the Smokey and the Bandit, I guess those were tests to see if a series could come out of it, but I don't think they did that well, which is why it didn't happen. But Tech War, I think, had 4 TV movies, and then they had 1 season of 13 episodes. Hercules had 5 TV movies, and then it had 6 seasons, and then Xena was actually on, for those of you that don't know or don't remember, Xena was on Hercules first. She was a villain, and then she turned good, and the character was so popular they gave her a spinoff. So there you go. So again, a bunch of useless fucking information that only I know because I'm a nerd. So there's that. I have the first season of Hercules. I need to get the rest. I have a couple seasons of Xena I need to fill the gaps in, because I used to watch the shit out of those shows as a kid. So there you go. But anyway, we have Fatal Attraction. I just don't have it on Blu-ray, but good movie. There you go. You'll never look at Rabbit the same way. I'm just kidding. Rabbit actually is very tasty, for those of you that have never had it. Next up, we got The Tick. This is the live-action series with Putty, Patrick Warburton from Seinfeld as The Tick. I actually watched this when it was originally on, and I thought, even as a kid, even though a lot of the jokes probably went over my head, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I thought it was funny as a kid, and I still find it funny as an adult. And what was his... Yeah, Batmanuel. I thought that was just absolutely hilarious when I was a kid. And Captain Liberty is actually played by Liz Vassy. Liz Vassy was on Brotherly Love with the Lawrence brothers back in the day. So there you go. And then the guy that played Arthur is David Burke. He was on Party of Five. So there you go. Unfortunately, this show did not do well. I remember it was really pushed. It was really hyped. And I don't think the ratings were where they wanted it to be. And they only did 1 season, I think. I don't even think all the episodes actually aired on television, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, I always really enjoyed this show. It is absolutely hilarious, even to this day, at least in my opinion. Mill Creek did a re-release of this, but this is the original Sony release, because this has the commentary tracks. The commentary tracks did not make it over to the Sony release. Next up, we got Vampires Los Muertos starring John Bon Jovi, because I don't know, but this is one of the movies that he ended up doing. I actually like it. I don't like it as much as the first Vampires, but I do enjoy this. And it is directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who, of course, worked with John Carpenter over the years. And there is a commentary track with him on here. And this is an old Blockbuster rental, as you can see. So, yeah, this is not on Blu-ray for whatever reason. Only the first movie is, but there you go. Then there was, this is one that I used to watch on the Sci-Fi Channel all the time. I think I have, if I'm not mistaken, I think I have the premiere broadcast of this from the Sci-Fi Channel with commercials in it. So there you go. But there was a third Vampires movie. It was called The Turning. I never saw that one. I never cared to see that one. So there you go. All right, now we got another childhood favorite series, cartoon I really enjoy. I still really enjoy it, but Archie's Weird Mysteries. I used to watch this when it was originally on, and I watched it a couple years ago. I think last year I watched it because it was the 25th anniversary, but still really fun. Really cool cartoon here. This is the original Mill Creek release that spread all of the episodes across 4 discs, and they re-released it in a 3-disc set for some reason. Because it is 40 episodes, 10 episodes per disc. You know, you'll be okay there. But yeah, but I love that show. Still love that show. Archie's Weird Mysteries. Next up, we got Andre, which is the movie about the seal. Yeah, that's what I've lovingly referred it to ever since childhood. The movie about the seal, because, you know, again, it was the 90s. So we had a million of these movies about lovable animals and their human friends. So there's that. But this is one that was just always on TV when I was a kid growing up. I always used to watch it. And the very cute, still to this day, very cute, Tina Margarino was in it from Waterworld and later Napoleon Dynamite. So I cannot go wrong. And Keith Carradine is in it. Chelsea Field from Last Boy Scout and Masters of the Universe is in it. So, yeah, not a bad movie. I think it came out around the same time as Lassie did. And it was the same studio. So I guess they were trying to... I guess Paramount had the stranglehold on animal-themed kids movies in 94. So there's that. The Sandlot, of course, had elements of that. Magic in the Water, I think, was the year later. That was the one about the whale that ate the Oreos. I don't know how the fuck I remember all this shit. See, I have to be on drugs. Oh, well. Next up, we got The Scout with Brendan Fraser and Albert Brooks. Hello, Fuzz. Who's actually Albert Brooks' real name, I think, is Albert Einstein, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that is his real name. But this is a good little baseball movie. I want to say that this did get a Blu-ray. I think this was one of the Anchor Bay Fox titles. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. But of course, those are all out of print now, and some are more expensive than others. So, you know, I'll just hold on to this DVD. For now, but good little baseball film. Again, it's Brendan Fraser, so you can't go wrong. Actually, since you've been gone, sorry, I don't give a fuck about Kelly Clarkson. I do want to see if that is on Blu-ray. Yeah, it is. There actually one just sold on eBay. Yeah, it was an Anchor Bay Fox title. One just sold for $189. I like the movie, but I ain't paying $189 to get the movie on Blu-ray. You can kiss my black ass. It's not fucking happening. So there's that. Anyway, now one that I wish was on Blu-ray. 50-50, really fun 90s action movie with Peter Weller and Robert Airplane Hayes. I know Robert Hayes more because he did the voice of Iron Man on the 90s cartoon, but that's just me. But this is another Cannon film that's stuck on DVD. Apparently, Peter Weller, I think it was Mike OCP. Peter Weller was doing a Reddit thing, and Mike asked him about 50-50, and Peter Weller said he had a great time doing this movie. He loved working with Robert Hayes. I think he was getting divorced at the time, so he said getting there and going to blow shit up and have fun really helped, him feel better. And yeah, this is just a really solid, really fun, 90s action movie, action comedy, buddy movie. So if you haven't seen this one, track it down, and hopefully, as I said in the previous segment with, The Hitman and Hellbound with Chuck Norris, hopefully a lot of those later Cannon films will finally get some Blu-ray love and appreciation, because a lot of them are just sitting there on DVD wasting away. So, oh well. Then we have the only Sniper sequels that I like, because I did review on the old channel a number of years ago. I did review all the Sniper films up until that point, because I think they've released more. Sniper 2 and 3 were the only sequels that I like. After that, I think it just became like a fucking joke, and it was a goof, and Sony was just trying to make money off of a lot of their catalog titles. Let's just give all these random movies sequels. But here, they actually tried, so I can't complain. But we have Sniper 2, and only the first one's on Blu-ray. But we got Sniper 2, which I remember when this came out, because Cinemax got the rights to it, and they used to run it a lot on there. But I do like this. Craig Baxley directed this movie. We did talk about it a little bit when I met him, so there you go. And then we have Sniper 3, which Spike TV actually got the rights to this when it first came out, so I saw it on there. But again, these two I like. After that, I don't give a shit, because then they brought in like Tom Berenger's character's son, and then Tom Berenger was in some of them, but he wasn't in some of the other ones, and then some of them he's only in one scene, and then some he's in it more, and then they brought Billy Zane back for some of them, and then they tried to, it always felt like a pilot for a TV series. And then because it didn't go to series, they just kept making these movies, but it always felt like a pilot to a show, and, oh well. Next up, I am surprised that this does not have a Blu-ray, but The Saint with Val Kilmer, which I think it did okay when it came out. I don't think it did what they were hoping for, but I think it did make a little bit of money. But I'm surprised Paramount has not put this one out on Blu-ray, but I always liked this film. I would love to see the original cut, because originally Elizabeth Shue's character was going to die, but then the test audiences hated it because they wanted them to be together, so they reshot like the ending and other parts of the movie. But I would love to see that original version of the film. But I like this movie for what it is. I never saw the TV show, but I like that. Next up, we got Crossfire Trail, which is one of the Tom Selleck TNT westerns. But I liked when they were making these back in the day. Like, I remember when this came on originally. I don't think I saw it till many years later. But I do like this film, and I liked a lot of these movies that Tom Selleck made. I think Monty Walsh was another one. He made a couple of these back in the day. Quigley Down Under went to theaters, but he did a bunch of these little direct-to-cable movies. Who else? Wilford Brimley is also in it. The lovely Virginia Madsen is in it. I can't go wrong. Christian Kane, who was on Angel at the time, the TV series. Mark Harmon's in this. Simon Windsor directed it, so not bad. I actually got this DVD for free. The place that I worked at the time, someone brought in like a bunch of their DVDs that they were getting rid of, and this was one of them. And I just grabbed it. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I think RoboCop was another one. Then this dickhead, I couldn't stand that guy. When I worked, I couldn't stand a lot at that specific job. I couldn't stand most of the people that worked there, but there were more that I couldn't stand than others. But this was one of the guys I couldn't stand more than others, because he always thought he was hot shit, and apparently he would run his mouth about me, but these fucking people ain't worth it. But he took like all the DVDs that people didn't want. He just threw them in the garbage, and I thought, why? You could just, give them to somebody else or take them to a Goodwill. You don't have to throw them away because you're a prick. But oh well. Next up, we have Empire Records, classic as far as I'm concerned. One of my favorite '90s comedies. Now, we did cover the Blu-ray previously. The reason why I still have this on DVD is because this is the remix special fan edition. This is the extended cut of the movie. For whatever reason, when it came out on Blu-ray, it only had the theatrical cut. So there you go, Warner Brothers at its finest. Which Warner Brothers, I think now they sing a different tune, but originally Warner Brothers was so embarrassed about this movie because it was a huge flop. They tried to bury the movie. They even tried to get the movie not released, but they had already made deals and everything. I think the soundtrack did better than the movie. Because they had the option to buy this movie or Clueless, and they passed on Clueless and they bought this, and it came back to bite them in the ass. People definitely got fired over that. But I've always really enjoyed this film. But yeah, this is the extended cut of the movie, which actually is way better as far as I'm concerned. And all the features, and so like the deleted scenes, they're on the Blu-ray, they're just not in the movie. You just as an extra feature, and then it has music videos and stuff like that. So all the extras made it to the Blu-ray. Just for whatever reason, they did not include. Come on, behave. They did not include this extended cut on there, which is the better version as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I love this movie, but this is definitely, and I think this might have been the first version of the movie I ever saw, so I got a little spoiled. But one of my favorite lines in the film is only in that extended cut where Johnny Whitworth's character is checking somebody out at the register and they're buying it on CD. He goes, "Have you heard it on vinyl? You should listen to it on vinyl. It sounds better on vinyl," which is true. So there you go. Well, yes. Well, yes, it does. It will sound better on vinyl. The problem, and people always get upset when I tell them this, but it's true. The problem with when vinyl came back about 15 years ago, you're buying an MP3 pressed to a slab of wax. That's what you're buying. It's digital. It's digital on vinyl. If there's an original pressing from back in the day, that's actually analog. People get so upset when I tell them that. They're not true. No, it is true. You're just fucking stupid. So go cry about it. Anyway. But yes, vinyl will sound better because it's got grooves in the music, but the original pressings will sound better than a modern pressing because, again, it's analog, not digital. So anyway. Or, sorry. My bad. But speaking of, that's a British thing. Trainspotting. I love this movie. I really do. I need to get the Blu-ray. But this is one I picked up at Goodwill. I just randomly found it on DVD, and I'd always heard about this movie, but I really enjoyed it. I think this is a really funny movie, a funny look at things. But, I love a lot of British comedy and humor, and that's because I have family there, so I do get spoiled on certain things, which is nice. I can't complain about getting spoiled with British comedy, so there you go. But I never saw the sequel. Honestly, if I don't, I think I'll be okay. But the original Trainspotting is a classic, and again, definitely need to upgrade that to Blu-ray at some point. Next up, we actually have a couple Disney Channel shows, which I believe these are they only ever got one DVD each as far as I know. So first we got Phil of the Future. I actually really liked this show when it was on. I used to watch it with the very attractive Allie. What's her last name? I don't know. Her name is not on the back here, but Allie Mishlaka or whatever her name is, but the very, very attractive Allie. Her sister was attractive as well, but I think Allie was a little more attractive. AJ was attractive too, but Allie, too bad she's married with children, so unfortunately they're not mine and I'm not with her. But anyway, but I did really like this show. Again, I think it only ever got one DVD release, so you can find the episodes somewhere, online, but it is what it is. I think it has five episodes on here, but like I said, this was the only official release that came out. I don't know if it had a VHS counterpart or not, because this was 2005, so I don't know, because Disney was still kind of dipping their toe in VHS in 2005, because I have, like, Power Rangers SPD was 2005. That actually got some tapes. I finally got the third tape, which was the hardest one to find. I finally got that one. I think Cars came out on VHS, but it was only in the Disney Movie Club, so that's pretty hard to come by now. So they were still kind of playing around with VHS a little bit. 2006, they went completely to DVD, and then eventually Blu-ray. And then we have This Is the Sweet Life. Sorry, I can't help it. But we have Sweet Life of Zack and Cody taking over the Tipton, which again, I think this only ever got one DVD release as well. Which is also... Actually, this is 2006. So yeah, this would have only ever have come out on DVD. But this has... I think 5 episodes as well, if I'm not mistaken. But there you go. With the very attractive, both of them very attractive, Brenda Song and Ashley Tisdale. Macaulay Culkin is a very lucky man, I will say that. So there you go. But I enjoyed, actually this one does have the chapter insert. Yeah, this has 5 episodes on here. Which has the episode where I forget which one was trying to get with the French girl, and he goes, "Oui, oui," and this guy goes, "The bathroom is over there." I'll never forget that joke. But I watched both of these when they were originally on. I still quite like these. I never saw the sequel, The Sweet Life on Deck, where they were on the cruise ship. I never watched that one. And again, if you look around online, you can find the complete series, if you want to go that route, which I will, because I want them on disc. So there's that. Anyway, excuse me. We got Dead Poets Society, great movie. I need to upgrade to the Blu-ray. Sorry. Also the Laserdisc, because the Laserdisc was the director's cut, which only ever came out on that format. So there you go. But this does have a bunch of extra features. Hopefully that ended up on the Blu-ray, but we'll see. But great film. Robin Williams should have won an Oscar for this movie. He should have won for this. He should have won for The Fisher King. I would argue that he should have won for Good Morning Vietnam, but that's just me. But why it took until Good Will Hunting for Robin Williams to get an Oscar is beyond me. So there's that. Next up, we have The Fan with Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes, actually directed by Tony Scott. I really like this film. It's about De Niro, who's a professional retard, by the way. He's this fan who's obsessed with Wesley. I think it's a remake of the other movie. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's just... I think it was based on a book, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it might have just been another version of the book. But I quite like this film. I don't think it did anything at the box office. I think it was really hyped and it was really pushed, but it did nothing. But I still think it's a pretty solid movie. This actually just got announced from Via Vision. They're doing a box set and they're putting this in the box set. But there's also a German release out there, which I think has some different extras that's going to be on that. So I got to look. But yeah, I like this film. Wesley Snipes, I always like Wesley Snipes. Robert De Niro, again, before he became a professional retard, one of the all-time great actors. You can't argue that. After Meet the Parents, though, I think his career really tanked and he never recovered because he just started doing all these shitty movies. Remember that movie Stardust that he was in with Michelle Pfeiffer? That was supposed to be the next big thing, and it was a huge flop. Yeah, there you go. Oh, we got some more fucking professional retard movies, movies from the professional retard, because these are good movies. But we got some more. So what I should have did was this. We got some movies from professional retard Robert De Niro. There's that. So first up, we got Analyze This. Absolute classic as far as I'm concerned. I We did cover these on Blu-ray. The reason why I still have them on DVD is because none of the features made it to the Blu-ray. There's commentaries on here. There's making of. There's a bunch of stuff. And for whatever reason, Warner Brothers decided we're just not going to put any of those on the Blu-ray release. So that's why I still have them on DVD. Then we got City by the Sea, which I do like this film. It was a huge flop when it came out. Like I said, after Meet the Parents, a lot of De Niro's movies started flopping, and I think people were just tired of seeing them. But I do like this film. I don't think it was too bad. It is based on a true story, and I don't know how accurate to the story it is, but not a bad film. And again, this never came out on Blu-ray. It's got some features and stuff on here, but good movie, at least good little movie, at least in my opinion. Then we got Analyze That, which once again, none of the features ended up on the Blu-ray. There's a commentary track, there's some making of stuff on here, so. And this was a huge flop as well, because Analyze This was actually a big hit, and then this flopped. Why, I don't really know, but, still enjoy this quite a bit. And then you get a little insert of other professional retard Robert De Niro movies. The offer expired, but it's okay. I have all of them on Blu-ray. Guilty by Suspicion I've never seen, but the rest of them I have on Blu-ray. So there's that. I know people get mad at me. Why you some retard? Why you talk all this shit about these actors and then you have their movies? I'm like, because a movie is not real, you fucking retard. So there's that. It's fantasy. It's entertainment. Are you done? Are you finished? Shut the fuck up. Nobody likes you. Anyway. Next up, we got a couple leftover Stallone movies here, who is not a professional retard. So there's that. So we have The Lords of Flatbush, which is on Blu-ray here in America. I just don't have it yet. But I actually really enjoyed this film. This was before Rocky. This was before Fonzie was Fonzie. This is pre-Fonzie. Perry King is also in it, I think he was on that show Riptide later on. And then Paul Mace was the other guy, who I don't know if he's been in anything else or not. But pretty fun movie, pretty good movie about, kind of a street gang in the 50s. I like these kind of films. But it's really cool to look at this because it's Stallone and Henry Winkler before anybody knew who they were. I think Stallone, if I'm not mistaken, I think he said he got paid in T-shirts for this movie. He didn't even get paid cash. And this is where Richard Gere was supposed to be in this, but him and Stallone didn't get along. And because Stallone wrote the movie, uncredited though, I believe, he got Richard Gere fired, and that's where apparently the Richard Gere gerbil story started with Stallone. I don't know how true that is, but oh well. And then I still actually have the old Rambo special edition DVD with the metal slipcover because I really liked it. I remember when this came out and always thought it was really cool. I did have actually a copy before this, but it was really damaged, like it was bent and stuff. This has got some rust on it, but steel rusts after a while, people. Again, these idiots they got to get everything on a fucking steel book. They're all gonna rust eventually. Just saying. But yeah, I just thought this was still a really cool DVD set. Still have it in the collection. I think, if I'm not mistaken, all the extras from here ended up on, I think, the 4Ks and stuff that I have. I got to double check, but if not, I got this. But I think they ended up on the 4Ks and such. And I really like the presentation. You get a nice booklet in here. Then you get the movies. And then the bonus disc. So yeah, the glue here is starting to come apart a little bit. But it's nothing that I... actually, it's completely apart. It's nothing that I can't fix. I'll just re-glue it. And it'll be fine. But yep, eventually things are going to fall apart and break down. And steel is going to rust. I don't know why people, again, cannot figure that out. But still really like this set. It's Rambo, come on. And then I have Rhinestone, which Rhinestone does have a Blu-ray overseas. I don't think that this is not the worst movie ever made. I don't even think it's Stallone's worst movie. Is it great? No. Is it like, okay, we're going to try something different? Yeah, but yeah, there's parts that I like about it. I like the part when they're at the funeral, like they don't know that the funeral's going on, and Stallone's like, Tutti Frutti! And then like the door opens up and I'm sorry. I thought that was funny. That's just me. And then we got Hulk Hogan stuff, brother. So yeah, Hulk Hogan, another as far professional retard, and not like, I know people got upset that he said the N-word. Like, really? You're upset about that? You're upset about someone saying the N-word? Really? Okay. But the problem that I had with Hulk Hogan was just all the lies that he told over the... Like, dude, you're Hulk Hogan. You're impressive enough, okay? You're one of the people that made wrestling what it is today. Not the only person. That's what people fail to realize. Hulk Hogan did not single-handedly turn wrestling into what it is today. You forgot about the Macho Man and Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair and the Road Warriors and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Jake the Snake Roberts. It wasn't just one person. Hulk Hogan gets all the credit because he was the biggest star, but he was not the only person that made wrestling into what it is today. But he is one of the people. But just the lies, like, again, why do you have to lie, make up all these stories and lie? And it's like, again, you are impressive. First of all, as a specimen, as a human being, you're impressive. I mean, look at he was always, for the most part, in amazing shape. So that's impressive enough. And then you are one of the people that made wrestling what it is. So why lie? Why talk all this stupid shit about Metallica? You know, I was going to be in Metallica. No, you weren't. You know, nobody cares about that stuff. Just tell the stories that people want to hear about wrestling. So that's where I had the issue, was with the lies. And then it didn't get any better with his crackhead family and all that other shit. Like, his son killed the guy. The guy didn't die, but the guy turned into a vegetable. You know, you're responsible for that. And, you know, you went to jail for a couple days, and then you never got really in trouble for it. And then you were out drinking and driving and doing stupid shit again, and that should have been a wake-up call. You know, all that, just whatever. But, you know, it's just so funny to me that, you know, he said the N-word, okay? And so have a lot of other people, but why did you get mad about Hulk Hogan? And then they took Hulk Hogan out of the Hall of Fame because he said the N-word, but they let Jimmy Snuka stay in there because he killed his girlfriend? Okay, that's not weird at all, is it? So, I don't know. I'm not getting into... I know. But anyway. But this is the stuff I do like with Hulk Hogan in terms of movies and such. Because he did make some shitty movies. But Suburban Commando is a lot of fun. I always really enjoyed this one. I would love if this were to get a Blu-ray. Such a nice place to live, but I wouldn't want to visit. But I always enjoyed this. And I remember several things about this movie. Number one, the trailer for this was on the Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze VHS, which I still have. I think I might still have Suburban Commando on VHS. I'm not sure. I have it on Laserdisc. I might have it on VHS. I gotta look. But also, like I was talking about earlier, when I went to England 30 years ago, I remember watching this with my one of my cousins in England on VHS. So there's that. And then we got Mr. Nanny, which I do like as well. I don't want to go to school. Why do I have to go to school? I'll never forget that. This one actually has the chapter insert. Suburban Commando does not. But this is one, I remember this was always on TV growing up. I used to watch it quite a bit. And then the little girl is Madeline Zima. I think she was also Gina Davis's daughter in The Long Kiss Goodnight, if I'm not mistaken. But David Johansen from the New York Dolls plays the villain, so you can't go wrong. And then Mr. Jefferson himself, Sherman Hemsley, is in there. And then this is where it gets confusing. We've got Shadow Warriors 1 and 2. I don't know why they did this, but Shadow Warriors 2, this is actually the first one. This was both of these were made for TNT because he was with WCW at the time, and these were basically pilots for a TV series, and they did actually very well. But I guess Hulk Hogan didn't want to do a series, so it didn't go to series. But oh well. But this is actually the first one. It was, when it premiered, it was called Assault on Devil's Island, which I actually have the original broadcast premiere of it with the commercials over on there somewhere. But for whatever reason, when they released it on DVD, they made it the sequel, although technically this is the first one. And then the first one is actually the second one. So this was Assault on Devil's Mountain or something like that. But they switched them when they came out on DVD for whatever reason. Again, I do not know. But they're not bad. They're fun little B action movies, so I can't complain. And then we also have The Ultimate Weapon. So Jeff Speakman was the perfect weapon. Hulk Hogan is the ultimate weapon with that really shitty Photoshop artwork. But this is Hulk Hogan doing Commando, basically. It's kind of that. This actually does have a Blu-ray, which came out in Germany, so I'd like to pick that up. But again, they're not bad little B movies, you know what you're getting. And then we have the Thunder in Paradise collection. So what they did was they took the first one is actually the pilot. I think it went straight to VHS, and then I think it did so well that it went to series. So then Thunder in Paradise 2 and 3 are two of the two-part episodes. They just edited them together to make a movie, and then they came out, I think, later. But if I'm not mistaken, again, the first one was the pilot. It came out on video. It did very well. It got picked up for a series, and it was actually the people that did Baywatch. And then they just released 2 and 3. They were, again, the multi-part episodes just edited together like a movie. So there you go. And they've never released the actual the rest of the series on DVD. I do have it. I found online somewhere and just made my own copies. But I don't know why they've only released the movies. But oh well. Well, the first one I think was a pilot movie, and because it did so well, then it went to series. And then they're like, well, why don't we just do sequels? So they just edited the episodes together. So there you go. And then we have another professional crackhead, professional retard, although I like his earlier films, which we covered in the Blu-ray section, but I do have some DVDs left over for Steven Seagal. So we have his first direct-to-video film, The Patriot, which, it's... The problem with this movie is, there was action and they cut it out. Because that scene where he's disarming don't think that scene's in the movie. And then, I'm not making this up. I'm not on drugs. I'm not on crack. But there was a martial arts documentary which came out around the time that this movie did that I saw. And it had footage in that documentary. There was footage of action scenes which did not make it to this movie. So there you go. But that was the problem. They cut out all the action, and it was more Seagal being this doctor and trying to save people, trying to, the message or whatever. But there is a little bit of action in here, and then you have Gaillard Sartain is the bad guy who just passed away recently. L.Q. Jones is in this. Camilla Bell plays his daughter, who was very cute back in the day, who grew up to be a beautiful woman. She was the little girl in the beginning of the Lost World Jurassic Park that got attacked by the compies. She was in a couple of Disney Channel movies back in the day, but I always thought she was really cute. And then, she is a beautiful woman, so can't go wrong with that. But yeah, the problem was they cut out all the action with this movie. But I remember when this came out on VHS back in the day, it was a big deal. But I think it ultimately fell flat. And there is a German Blu-ray for this I would like to get. And then we have Out of Reach, which also has a German Blu-ray. I think maybe Spanish. I'm sorry, which is a fancy bootleg. But this one's okay. Apparently, they change like with a lot of these movies. Number one, Seagal did not want to come in and do ADR, so they had somebody else dub his voice. And then apparently they changed a lot of the plot elements halfway through the film, so they had to ADR it anyway. But there's a couple good little action scenes in here. And then Matt Scholes, who played the villain in the first Transporter, and then he was in Fast and the Furious, he plays the villain in that, and I think he actually did a pretty good job. So there you go. And then we have Shadow Man, which, it's okay. It's got some stuff I like in it, but it's a direct-to-video Steven Seagal movie. You know what you're getting. But this one, currently, as far as I understand, does not have a Blu-ray anywhere in the world. The other two right here do. I just don't have them. So there's that. But yeah, we're going to keep rolling for a little bit. So I think what we'll do is I'll run maybe about 20 more minutes. That'll get us to about an hour, a little bit over an hour. We should be able to get through the next pile. And then the next segment after that, we will wrap up all the stuff on top here of this shelf. And then we're going to roll right into the bigger shelves. So same thing with that. What I will do, because there are 5 shelves each, for the first 3, I'll pull them off. The first 2. The first 3, I'll pull them off and just sit down, and then the bottom 2, since it'll be easier, we'll flip the camera around and do that. Sounds good. All right, so we're gonna roll into some Arnold, some Schwarzenegger DVDs that I have left over. So here you go. Got those. So first up, I still have this because the Blu-ray that I have of Predator, we already went over it. That was the original Blu-ray, which was just a DVD upscale and looks absolutely fucking terrible, and it does not have any of the extras. But the 4K has all the extras, and it has a new transfer and stuff, and I'll grab that at some point. But I still have the old original 2-disc Predator Collector's Edition DVD. This was actually a gift from a relative. I think it was Christmas or something. But I still love this. I love when Fox, because I had Alien and Aliens, they released I think around the same time individually from the box set, and Fox did a couple other of these, special edition DVDs that are still, at least as far as I'm concerned, still quite nice. Still a really nice presentation here. Again, when Fox actually gave a shit, number one, about when Fox was a thing, number one, and number two, they gave a shit about their back catalogs. You get a nice little booklet here, and then this was the J card on the back, which I kept. So, but still a really nice presentation. I might, even when I get that 4K, I might actually still keep this, because number one, it was a gift. And number two, it's still a really nice presentation here. And it's number 3, it's fucking Predator. So you can't go wrong. There you go. Oh, a little side story here. I remember there was a time when I was going to throw my slipcovers away, and my dad's like, "Why are you going to throw those out?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just don't need it." He goes, "No, keep them. They're nice." I'm like, "Okay." A little side story. And then we have, this was actually sent to me. Again, I don't know what he changed his name to, but he was Pancake Poppy. We have the old limited edition of Total Recall that had the moon little tin with it. So this is actually really cool. So once again, thank you for sending me this. I never had this. I had Total Recall on DVD back in the day, but it was just the regular DVD. But I always thought that this was pretty cool. And then, you open it up. Oh. And then you get the disc. And then you get the little booklet here. And then this is just for ads for other movies on DVD. and Esquire magazine for some reason. And vacations.com, and you need juice, they got juice. Okay. And you get, if you buy a video camera, you get a free scooter. All right. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Hold on, I'm curious now. Is there any actual DVD stuff, or is it just, yeah, how to get a free DVD for the Blair Witch? Buy one of these DVDs and then this DVD, and then you get a free Blair Witch DVD. That makes sense. Alright, so most of it is just shit that's got nothing to do with fucking Total Recall or DVDs. It's, you need juice, you need a magazine, we got it, bitches. Get your fucking free scooter when you buy a video camera. Okay, gotta love it. And then I still have still honestly probably the best way to watch Terminator 2, because once again Terminator 2 is one of those movies where not only do they not put all the extra features on the Blu-rays, they keep doing a new fucking transfer, and it ain't any good. So there's that. So we have the old Ultimate Edition, which I love. This is the 2-disc version. The slipcover is just the regular type of slipcover. There was a metal slipcover, but I think it was a slim DVD case and stuff. I don't have that one, and I think that was a flip disc too. So it had the movie on one side and then the features on the other. This one is the 2 discs, so that's why I had it. It's got the booklet and everything. But still, again, and I love that it says side 1, even though it's a disc, and then side 2, again, even though they're separate discs. But like I said, most of the extra features from here, I don't think ever made it to any of the Blu-rays. I think the 2 Blu-rays that I have just have the making of More Than Meets the Eye, and then the making of the 3D ride. The rest of it, I don't think ended up, maybe the trailers and stuff, but I don't think any of that ended up on the Blu-rays. Like the, you can like break it down and go through each aspect of filmmaking on here. I don't think any of that ended up on the ones I have, which we'll cover those later because I haven't watched them yet. And then we have the Extreme Edition, which comes in this really nice metal slipcover. I just cut the bottom out and kept the shrink on. It is, actually, no, this is held up pretty well, actually. Because this has different extra features, which did not make it to other Blu-rays. And I do remember when both of these came out, they were pretty big deals, and honestly, probably still the best. This and the Laserdisc are probably still the best way to watch the movie, as far as I'm concerned. But this one, I think, has a different commentary track than the other version, which I don't think made it. And then it has a new documentary about CGI and Terminator 2 and how that played into it. I don't think that ever got re-released. There's like 10 minutes of behind-the-scenes footage from the set. I don't think that got re-released. There's like an interactive mode where the icon pops up and you click it and they'll show you footage and stuff. I don't think any of that got reissued. And also, the big deal that they made about this was, you could watch it on your computer and shit like that, and they made a big deal about it. So yeah, there you go. But yep, still have those because the extras never made it elsewhere. So there's that. Next up, we got some Eon Flux. I remember probably about, actually over 20 years ago now, MTV2 used to rerun this, and Beavis and Butthead and stuff, and I used to catch this on here. Really wacky, really out there, but some pretty cool stuff. Again, this was Liquid Television back in the day. I think this and Beavis and Butthead were the only 2 segments from Liquid Television that actually got their own series. So this is the original DVD release, because this is the original versions of the episode. We'll cover that in a moment here, but it's not all the episodes. This was one of the VHS tapes. I think this was the first VHS tape. They actually did release the complete series on VHS. I have that, and it is the original versions, which again, disc is flying out trying to kill me. We'll cover that in a moment here. And then later, they did a complete box set. But the problem with this is Peter Chung, who worked on Rugrats, he worked on Ninja Turtles, he worked on a lot of stuff back in the day. He went back and re-edited all the episodes and stuff. They're director's cuts, so the original versions have never come out on DVD apart from this one here. So that's why I kept that one, because those are the original versions of that episode, of the episodes. And here, because this has extra features and stuff, and it is the complete series on DVD. So again, that DVD, the other DVD, does not have all the episodes. But you can go online and find them, cleaned up and stuff. So, yeah. So there you go. There's a little note from Peter Chung, and then there's some ads for Aeon Flux, the game, which I don't think ever came out, and then there was a book, and then Beavis and Butthead and Jackass. Let me read this here quick. 4 of the episodes have had their selected dialogue rewritten to bring characterization into better continuity with the series as whole. So I guess those are the 4 that they made director's cuts of, or what have you. So there you go. So 4 out of however many, I'm not sure how many episodes they did. I think 10. So yeah, the other 6 are the original versions, but I still have that DVD anyway. But you get some really cool artwork and such on here. But yeah, definitely out there, definitely crazy. A lot of anime influence before anime really hit it big here in the States. But a very cool show, very trippy, very out there. But that was the point of Liquid Television back in the day. So I was a little too young for that. I think Liquid Television was before I was born, but obviously over the years, learning about it and such. But Beavis and Butthead, of course, I watched that, and then Aeon Flux a little bit later on. But good stuff. And that was supposed to come out on Blu-ray, but it got canceled for whatever reason, and it never happened. So there's that. Next up, we got 3 Men and a Baby. Great movie, classic movie. Why this has never come out on Blu-ray, I have no idea. I could not tell you. But absolute classic as far as I'm concerned. There's bootlegs out there, but, why? Come on, Disney. What the fuck? So, fucking Disney. But I don't think I ever saw the sequel, to be honest. 3 Men and a Little Lady. Don't think I ever saw that one, but oh well. Next up, we got a couple Drake and Josh DVDs, which I do have. This never got a complete series set. They did, I think, Burn on Demand. They did compilations like the best of seasons, so I made my own set of the show because I really like this one. I watched it a lot as a kid. Now that the truth has come out and everything, it is kind of weird to watch this stuff, but if you separate from that, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But it's just a lot of that stuff. I never saw the documentary, The Quiet on the Set. A lot of that stuff I just don't understand. Number 1, why it happened. Number 2, why didn't anybody do anything about it then? And then number 3, why do you care? Oh, I know why you care now, because all the Me Too shit came out, and now you can make money, and you can pick the friggin' bones. But it just, and it's still happening today. I mean, why do these children, first of all, go into show business? I don't think children should go into show business. And number 2, why does this keep happening? Why are these children being molested, and why is no one doing anything about it? Like with the whole Epstein thing. Why did these people's parents allow this to happen? So I blame the parents just as much as anybody else. You know what I mean? So there's that. Anyway, I don't want to get into all that. It's the day before Christmas Eve, okay? But we still got, some good entertainment here. So we have Volume 1, Suddenly Brothers, which they didn't do any further volumes after this. So it has The Pilot, Dune Buggy, Two Idiots and a Baby, and First Crush are the episodes on here. And then we have Drake and Josh Go Hollywood, the movie, which I did like this. And it does have Helen's Surgery and Mindy's Back as bonus episodes. I had the Christmas movie. That movie sucked. Like, I had that on DVD at one point. I did review it on the old channel, I think maybe last year or a couple years ago for Christmas. But that movie sucked. That was a terrible movie. Actually, here's what we're going to do. I will wrap up with these, and then that is a perfect spot to jump into for the next segment. So, these are the Halloween DVDs I have left over. Michael Myers time, and then we'll end with Michael Myers, and then we'll start with X-Men. Sounds good, right? So first up, I have the old limited edition Anchor Bay DVD. Still love that lenticular cover. This was a gift from my mom. I think it was Easter one year, or my birthday, and I really wanted this, and she got it for me. But still love this DVD. Again, I could play with that all day, but love this. For a while, this was expensive. This was hard to come by for a while. I think when I got it, it was still in that territory. But it is numbered, number 26,982. I don't know how many they capped it at or whatever. But, and this was the first time that you got the television version released officially. Well, technically it was. We'll cover that when we get to VHS. We will cover the Halloween TV cut when we get to the VHS collection, probably in January. But this was the first official release of the TV cut. Excuse me, on home video, and there is trailers, TV spots, radio spots. And it does have the Halloween Unmasked 2000 documentary on here. But yeah, this was hard to come by for some reason, back then. Which is funny because they re-released the TV cut. I actually just got that DVD recently because I just wanted it. So I have more Halloween. But good old Anchor Bay. I really do miss the Anchor Bay days. And I've been loving the podcast that the guys at Dead Pit have been doing, and Garrett. So there you go, from Born to Be Rad. But yep, this was hard. I don't know again what the prices are like for this, but still love this DVD. I will never get rid of it. And then we've got Halloween 4. This is the Divimax, because that was Anchor Bay's special edition line, which I always thought that was a cool name, Divimax. And I always liked that orange look to it, because Halloween, orange, pumpkins, I always thought that was cool. And the reason why I still have this, is because this has the commentary with the writer, Alan McElroy, which never got reissued on any of the Blu-rays and such in America. There is a German Blu-ray that actually has that commentary, but because Arrow is doing Halloween 1, 4, and 5, I'm going to wait and see if it's Arrow, so they should be able to get the license for that. So if not, I'll pick up that German release. But hopefully Arrow will pick up that commentary for Halloween 4. And I'm actually really excited to see what Arrow does with Halloween 1, 4, and 5. So we'll see what's going on with that. But still have this. When this came out, this and Halloween 5, my mom actually got me for Christmas one year. I don't have Halloween 5 anymore because, again, all the stuff from that made it to the Blu-rays. But still got Halloween 4, which, I don't know. Some days I wake up and Halloween 4 is my favorite. Some days I wake up and Halloween 2 is my favorite. It just depends on the mood, I suppose. But I might even still keep this one just because. We'll see. And then we got a couple bootlegs here. Remember this one? Anybody remember this one? Anybody have this one? This is the ultimate edition of Halloween 6 with the producer's cut and all the different other versions of the movie that were out there at one point, which I'm sure you can still find. But you got the producer's cut, which at the time, this was the best quality that you could get. Whoever made this set or whatever, they did clean it up as best as they could. Then you get the work print on disc 2, the director's cut, which is just the theatrical version with a little bit more violence in there. Like you actually see Michael push the doctor's head through the bars. In the R-rated cut, you just kind of see it, but here it goes all the way through. And then the TV cut is on here, and then disc 5 is all the extra features, which is behind the scenes footage, auditions, trailers, TV spots, stuff like that. But still have this set. This was the bad boy for a while. This is the one that everybody wanted. And I think I got this and the we'll see it later, but the Freddy's Nightmares I got from the same guy. It was weird because like the guy was in Puerto Rico, and then I had to send him a money order. That was the only form that he accepted. It was very strange, but I ended up getting both of them. And then actually, little side story here: the guy that made the Freddy's Nightmare set originally, he reached out to me on the old channel, and we were talking back and forth for a little bit. He was like, yeah, man, I made that set, but I think the one that you have is a bootleg of a bootleg because my shit was not super compressed and everything like that. And he had just put them out on Blu-ray, and I tried to order from him to get the Blu-ray, and I guess he stopped taking orders or whatever because couldn't get it. So there you go. But you can find Freddy's Nightmare now because it's on the streaming services and stuff. They're cleaned up now. You can find them pretty easily. So, but back then, before there was streaming, they were a little hard to come by. The good old days. I miss those days. When I think about the good old days. Next up, we have the Halloween H2O work print, which I love that it's an orange case. This was I found this on eBay. This was one I could never find on the torrent sites and everything. All the other ones I could find, the Resurrection work prints, the TV version of H2O, but I could never find the work print for it. So yeah, luckily it popped up on eBay one time and I grabbed it, but just to have it finally have it in the collection because I always wanted this version. But I like H2O. The problem was they made it too much like Scream, and then the issues with the masks and everything. So, it is what it is at this point. And then we have, which, number one, I am surprised that this has not come back out in any way, shape, or form. And number two, I'm surprised that they've never done like a Crystal Lake Memories or a Never Sleep Again for Halloween. But this is the 25 Years of Terror documentary. I actually got this at Walmart. I found it in the $5 bin, which was crazy. But Anchor Bay put this out. Yeah, I don't know where I know Sean Clark. Sean Clark told a story. I think he had the rights to it. He owned it, and then he sold it, but he got fucked over or something like that. I remember on a podcast he talked about that. But I really enjoyed this documentary. Now, it's only up to H2O. It doesn't include the Rob Zombie movies, thank God. But, Rob Zombie is interviewed in here. So I don't like remakes. Well, you made a remake, buddy. Oh, well. But there's a bunch of extras on here, which is really cool. On-set footage and stuff. So, and also, it does still have the comic book, which was pretty hard to come by. Actually, now I see this comic book being sold at conventions for like $100. I'm like, all you have to do is go on eBay, and I'm sure you can find this with the comic book a hell of a lot cheaper than that. So there you go. And then we will wrap this segment up with another bootleg here. We have the Halloween Convention Collection, which I got at Monster Mania many years ago. This is another one that I remember seeing on all the old horror bootleg sites back in the day, but I didn't get it until years later. So you got home video footage, from the Pasadena Civic Center, August 12th, 2000. Fangoria Weekend of Horrors, Mustafa Cod Q&A, Egyptian Theater, October 13th, 2000, and miscellaneous footage, trailers, and etc. And I love the artwork on here. Really like that. But I don't know 100% what's on here. I haven't watched it in forever. I'll have to give it a look, at some point here. Even though it's not Halloween season, it doesn't matter, because in this house, Halloween is all year round. And that's a perfect spot to end it. But anyway, this is part 27, because like I said, I went and checked. We will get back into it next time. We will finish up everything that's on top of the shelves here, and time permitting, we'll jump over into the bigger shelves, and we'll start rocking and rolling on that. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, as always, thank you guys for watching. Most importantly, take care of yourselves. Probably should start doing my old outro. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.